Hello from Parsley Hill Spaniels. The Spaniels aren't with me at the minute because it's raining outside, and funny enough, they're water dogs, but they don't like the rain. Just come out to show you something that happened yesterday. Today is Monday. Yes, I know the saunter went up yesterday and it was all sunny and everything else, but everyone knows I always make the saunter a day or two before the actual saunter. Can you see that? That's the electrical pole that was there. There's a new electrical pole there now. This electrical pole caught fire yesterday. Yeah, caught fire. And the wire, all the way up there, came down. And the top bit, where the transformer is up there, that came off. That's all burnt and everything else. Anyway, yeah, that came off, and yeah, it was quite frightening actually. So our power went out about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Didn't think anything of it because it was like this, rainy, and living out rural, trees and things come down on lines elsewhere, and so I phoned the power company to get the report, and listen to the message that always tells us where the outages are. They're called outages over here, not power cuts. Sorry, I'm just going to go and check the girls. Whoops. Yeah, just check the girls. Actually, I'm going to stand in the shed for a second. It's persistently raining. We'll look out this way. You may still be able to hear the birdies and you can hear the wind. Anyway, so about 1 o'clock power went off. I phoned the power company to find out what was happening. Heard that they had an update, but it hadn't been updated for about 10-15 minutes or so, so I knew I had to wait. I carried on waiting on the line so I could report our outage, and then I got bored. So I went onto Facebook, onto our local community Facebook page, and saw that other people... Oh, there's a grackle there. There it is. Back to normal there we are. Saw that there was quite a few people had an outage, so I didn't think anything of it. People have reported it, that was okay. Oh, there's a female down there. And then about an hour went by, so I thought I'd phone again and find out if it had been updated, and it had, and it mentioned where we were, and that power would be restored about 5. By now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I thought, well, that's all right. 5 o'clock. It's raining, and Teddies don't really like going out in the rain, which is good, so it's quick bathroom trips for them out the front. So I came out the back there to come and see to the girls, make sure they're okay, because they do have a habit of standing out in the rain. Even though they've got plenty of shelter everywhere, they do have a habit. Anyway, I got to the top of the steps, and as I looked down towards the Eden project, I saw a line down, but in my mind it was... So I'm facing this way in case we see any more birdies, because I can hear them. In my mind it was, why is the winch line out from the cap? We'd used it the day before and we'd come up that way, but why is the line there? Why is the winch rope there? Brain wasn't working, obviously. And it was only as I came down the steps over there that I realised that the line was going down the vegetable patch and over the apple trees. It was on top of the apple trees. So let me see the birdies down there. Maybe? Nope. All right. Anyway, squirrels over there. If you zoom in, you'll see a squirrel. I realised that it's the power line from the road to the power pole on our property that supplies power to our house, that was lying down. So that's a live electrical power with thousands and thousands of amps and volts going through it in wet weather on the ground. Not good. So I very gingerly stepped out just round here and poked my head round the corner and saw that the top of the pole had come off. Hadn't seen it as burnt off, I just saw it had come off. So I thought, oh, well, that'll be right. And I was blaming the big wood peckers. Remember I said the pillated like to go and bash the top of those? I was blaming them. Bless them. It wasn't their fault at all. Ooh. Windy. Anyway, so I stepped back inside, phoned the power company and said, I know why our power's out. Told the lovely lady and at Fortis, and she said, okay, we'll let the linesman know and they'll be round soon. I said, okay, I'll go down and open the gate for them. So I went and found the major, who was sitting on the bed reading, and I said, look, don't let the Teddies out because we've got a live wire down. The power, the top of the pole has come off for some reason. It's lying on the ground. I'm just going to go down and open up the gate. And he said, what about the girls? And I said, I haven't gone to see them yet. But we've got the little camera in there. And he said, all right, well, I'll see if I can see them on the camera. Anyway, I was coming back up from the gate opening, and the major was coming down to meet me. And he said, get on the line to Fortis again. And I said, why? He said, well, I've just gone to check the girls. And I said, they're okay. All this. I mean, the ground needs it, because it was absolutely dry. I said, why? And he said, because the pole's on fire. And I said, I'm sorry? He said, the pole's on fire. I said, oh, okay. So I phoned Fortis and said, just to let you know, the pole's on fire. And then I phoned 911. Probably should have done it in the other way round, but in my mind it was letting the linesman know, or letting Fortis know to let the linesman know, and then I could phone 911 and let them know that Fortis already knew, so that everybody could talk and communicate and know what they were talking about, if that makes sense. So for the sake of a few seconds, that's what it was, like 30 seconds. I phoned Fortis first. But it wasn't a blaze, don't get me wrong, but there was flames and it was smoking, as you can see. Anyway, we were worried about the chickens, and the major said, it's okay, I've seen to the girls, they're all good. Obviously we need to keep the Teddies away from here, and I said, we'll just have to let them in the garage if they need to, if they need a bathroom break, because I know they won't go in the garage per se. Let's see, there's some birdies over there. See? That's the female grackle. And but we couldn't let them out because we couldn't risk them running around here and touching or coming within 10 metres of the live wire, or any water or any tree that the live wire may be touching, that then in turn may be touching another tree, that sort of thing. So yeah. Anyway, linesman turned up, and then a few minutes later, fire turned up, and linesman grounded it. Fire doused the whole pole, so that was that done. Fire went away, and the linesman got to work, and he put everybody else's power back on. I went on Facebook and apologised to everyone and said, well, I know why power's out, it's because of so-and-so. Because the line coming down had tripped something on the main line down on the road, which had obviously tripped everybody else's out. But everyone else was on within hour and a half. We were then wondering, how long are we going to be without power? Because everything here's electric, our well pump's electric. And it's funny, we'd only been talking about the generator and the wind turbine and the solar power and things like that. Where we were going to put, certain things, and how the generator's going in this year, and so that we won't have long power outages and things like that again. And that happens. Anyway, talking to the nice man that came out, the nice linesman, and he said, well, it's going to be a few hours. I always thought he was going to say it was going to be a few days or a couple of weeks. But he said no, it's going to be a few hours. He said because we've got to get a crew out here to change the pole, and obviously rig everything up. But bless him, I think he left about 4:30, 4:45. Major closed the gate. We let the Teddies out very quickly and supervised them because obviously the line was grounded now, but we made sure they didn't come anywhere near here. Got them all back in the house, and by just gone 6, the crew were here, and they had to do some pruning on one of our Douglas firs, unfortunately, so they could get their machinery in. But they worked. The reason why they haven't taken the pole, they cleared everything else up. And the reason why they haven't taken the pole is because the major said, I need that pole, because he's got ideas for it. So that's why that's there. They came and they did, and we had everything back on, power up, everything by 9 o'clock last night. Wow. And so many emotions yesterday, so many emotions going through, because it was like, not panic, because we don't do panic in this house, but it started off with boredom because it was a dark day, and then a bit of excitement, I suppose, and then serious head on, and then anxious head, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there, is everybody going to be okay? But the last things that I felt before falling asleep last night was after a nice shower. So that's the other thing, you can't shower unless power's on. Was joy, relief, and thankfulness, because if this had happened Saturday or Friday, I don't think the house would be standing. We definitely would have got the girls out, but very quickly. They probably would have had smoke inhalation. Would have got the Teddies away, obviously. Oh, wow. The wind, isn't it? But everything was so dry. You've seen from the recent videos, everything was so dry. And this time of year, the spruces and the firs are full of sap, because they're producing new buds and everything else. And the lower branches are so dry. I mean, they're tinder dry. That's where it comes from. That if that had happened, like I say, Saturday or Friday or even Thursday or whatever, I don't think we'd be here. So I'm so thankful, because everything would have gone up. And do you know the reason why it burnt? Water. The rain. Apparently, when the poles are a certain age, because I don't know how old that pole was, because it was here when we got here, and that was 15 years ago, the water seeps into the pole and finds little cracks. It's called tracking, and it tracks into the pole, and then obviously it finds its way to steel, steel brackets and things that are on the pole and in the pole, and then it causes an arc, and this thing was smouldering from the inside out. It burnt from the inside out, which is ironic, really, because when I came out to see the girls at about 8 o'clock yesterday morning, because I knew that's when it started raining yesterday. It was 8 o'clock. So I knew the girls wouldn't like it, so I wanted to see if they wanted to go in, but they were like, no. I could smell smoke, but I just took it, because of the wind and that, I just thought it was a wildfire smoke, because you get the wildfire smoke so regularly coming through that you don't take much notice of the smell of smoke, if you see what I mean. And I definitely didn't see any clouds of smoke, but it was the rain. But it was also the rain that stopped it from spreading yesterday as well. So yeah, that's our update, and that was our excitement. Aren't we lucky? We are so lucky. Anyway, hope you guys are all well. I'm now going to go in because it's a bit cold. It's damp, actually. And you know what dampness is like when you've got a bit of a wind. I mean, it's not cold. I mean, heavens, it's not winter cold. It's about 10, 11 degrees, but it's just damp. Yes. so it's not nice. I just want to go in. But yeah, hope you're all keeping well. That's our news. What happened. I'll just show you as I go back in. Oh. You see our Douglas fir there as well, where they had to take the limbs off there. Such a shame, but oh well. Ooh, that needs to go. Oh, I've just seen where that needs to go. Oh, that way. That's better. Yeah, look. They took the top away and the old transformer and things, and they did their best not to muck up the lawn, but obviously there's some divots there. And the driveway, well, we don't care about the driveway because that's getting done, isn't it? So, anyway, yeah, you see where they had to cut up to. But they were very, very polite and lovely and did it with, sensitivity and care. Yeah. Huge pole in there now, and the wires are all up out the way, which is good. I haven't got to worry too much about them. But anyway, so that was our can't really call it exciting day. Our full day yesterday. Right, everyone, take care. Look after yourselves. If you've got poles on your property over here, or actually even in the UK, make sure they've been inspected and just keep your eye on them, okay? Especially in the rain, who'd have thought. Alright, and until next time, happy sniffs.